Good day, friends. It's going to be quite a short video, this one, because I'm not going into details about the guitar or what it is, but I will say that it is not a big name guitar. It is a Chinese made copy of a big name guitar, and as impressive as it looks, and from a foot or a couple of feet away it looks quite impressive, but when you really get into it, it is not that impressive at all. And the worst thing about it is, well, not just the construction of the neck, but the frets. And I don't know if you can see from where you are, but I've been across here with a fret rocker, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 high frets out of 21. That's pretty appalling. 16 high frets and various areas of those frets. And I've done a little map, and I started dividing a fret into 5 sections, going 1 this side, 5 that side, 3 in the middle, and 2 and 4 either side. And when I do that, I can then write a key or a map, and if I ever rub this pen off, I will know where to go to check the frets. For instance, fret 2 as areas 2 and 3 are high, so you get the idea. So this guitar may look the part from a distance, and it certainly does. I expect it sounds rubbish. I don't know, I've not plugged it in to try it. I'm not going to plug it in to try it, I'm not really interested. Now, the only reason I'm doing this neck is for 2 reasons. One, I know the guy who owns it is never going to try and pass it off as an original. He couldn't anyway, because of how bad it so blatantly is. But he wouldn't, and I do know that, and he is a regular, I know the guy, I've known him for a long time. So he's a regular visitor to this workshop. And so I know that's going to be absolutely fine. So that's the only reason I'm doing it, but I'm not going to show the guitar, I'm not going to show what's on the headstock, even though I have it covered anyway. I know it won't be passed off as an original. There's so much wrong with it. I'm not even going to go into detail because there's absolutely no point, but what I am going to do is I'm going to level the frets. And the thing is, with these frets, some of them are so high. I have one here, it's ludicrously high. That's bad, but it's not the worst. That's bad. This one. It must be 1/3 of a millimetre high. It is ludicrous. And everywhere I go, look, this one's ludicrously high as well. Listen to the rock. You're 1.5 metres away from that. That's got to be nearly, there's 1/3 of a mil there. So, I'm not going to faff about with this. I'm not taping it up because I don't need to. I've got the pickup cover, one of the pickups covered. Because these are so high, if I was doing it with a levelling beam, it'd take me for ages. It'd take me, not forever, but it'd take me ages, or minutes, you know what I'm saying. But quite a lot of minutes and a lot of sandpaper to get these levels. So I'm going to go with a file, and I'm going to use my Valorb Swiss made number 4 cut file, very smooth but very sharp. And I'm just going to attack these frets. And I've marked everything off in red. I'm just going to attack these frets until we start getting level. And they're going to need a lot of work. I would just say, if this guitar didn't belong to the guy who it belongs to, I would not do this. I would not do this job at all. I'd just say no, can't do that. I don't do fakes. It's just I know that this guitar is in safe hands, it's not going to get passed on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to level these frets, get them, I mean that's still stupidly high. I'll be quite a while, so I'm not going to film this at all. I'm just going to crack on, remove material. And once I've got the frets close, I will come across with the sanding beam or radius beam or whatever, and I will re-radius the whole lot, and we'll treat the frets properly as we ought. So, quick update, and this is why I don't buy cheap Chinese rubbish. I levelled all these frets yesterday, and it got down to this end, and the more I levelled, the higher they seemed to get, so I thought, these ain't right. And what's happened is these frets are unseated, and they just spring in and out. You can't see it from where you are, but when I press that, it goes in. When I let go, it pops out. So every time I filed a bit, it's popping up more. And I'm going to show you the problem. And there are only 2 frets, which is quite fortunate because it means I can just replace these 2 and get on with it, and it's going to be relatively inexpensive. But look at this. This is a 1/4 millimetre feeler gauge, 0.25 of a millimetre. It goes under the fret, both sides. and that means the fret is not seated right, and I'm sure I'm going to be able to remove the fret just by sliding this through, and there you go. And I've slid that right underneath the whole fret, and I'm going to have to replace these because they're not glued in properly. And again with this one next to it, look, and this goes in so easy, it's just under the fret, and I'm sure I'm going to be able to get this one out. It's mental. Look at this. And that fret is nearly out, look, that's gone right underneath. Just bang that in again. It should not be like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace these two. If it was any more than this two, the job would not be worth doing. So I'm going to pull these two frets. And I'm going to actually, let me just zoom in. I didn't show you close enough, did I? And this would have been, I get a Chibson, this would be like a, I don't know if you call it a Chendra or what, but this is basically, I'll admit what this guitar is, it's a knockoff Fender. It's nothing like a real Fender. I own real Fenders. It's nothing like it, but these frets, and the problem with these cheap Chinese fretboards, and not fretboards, necks, you can buy these for 23 quid delivered. I actually bought one last year, see if they were any good. I mean not, and the problem is, your frets are inside the fingerboard. Look, it's a millimetre inside there. I'm going to replace that. I'm going to replace these four. That one's a millimetre inside. Look, I've just noticed that. Absolute rubbish. Can I zoom in a bit more? Here. There's a gap there, 1 millimetre from the edge of the fret to the edge of the neck. Absolute crap. So I'm going to certainly going to remove these two. And there you see, they're not even cut all the way through. Just absolute rubbish. I bought one of these necks on its own. It's exactly the same neck as the one I bought. Can you see there? So I've also got a cut inside the fret. This, I mean, I should be charging 40, 50 quid for replacing these four. I'm not going to. But yeah, absolute crap. That one's got to come out because it's not wide enough. It's just pathetic. That one, I'll just about get away with it, but what absolute rubbish. So, never buy cheap Chinese guitars. I'm going to cut some new fret. Luckily I've got some of this fret wire in stock, same width. I'm going to replace just these for leaving that one in because it gives me a level to work off. These can go in the bin. But that is it. So, here we are back again with the, what shall we call it? Well, it's a fake Fender, isn't it? Let's be honest about it. But what I'm doing now is I'm ready to recrown the frets, and I've replaced 3. And you will be hard pushed to tell which 3 I have replaced. So I'm going to point out the 3 I have replaced, and it's fret 1, fret 3, and fret 4. They're the ones I've replaced. I've gone across and checked with a level. I've had to level them again a little bit, but we need to see the transition of these new ones into the old ones, and has the transition gone well? And yes, absolutely it's gone well, because all the frets are now level across the whole length of the fingerboard. And I'm just going to show that again. I wasn't going to film this, and I certainly wasn't going to release it, but I think I might as well, because it's nothing bad to my name, me doing a fake Fender. I know for a fact that this guitar will stay with its owner. It will never ever be passed off as a Fender. It'd be impossible to pass it off as a Fender anyway, because it is really not that good. But that said, the neck is now perfect, and I am going to recrown all of these frets, and then I'm going to polish them. So the guy who bought with this is certainly getting his money's worth. End of the day, a false economy buying these guitars as far as I'm concerned. The body's great, don't get me wrong, and the top on the body's fantastic, but the neck was abysmal. I actually bought one of these necks to try it out last year. 23 quid it cost, and I'm glad I didn't pay more for it. It was crap. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to mark up all of the frets, and I'm going to recrown the whole lot. for a recrown. And so this wasn't really flat. Some of these were really high, and they were very, very badly put in. But we only needed to replace 3 in the end, which could have been worse. So I'm going to mark all of these frets up. Probably be easier to remove the neck to crown these, but I'm not going to. You don't need a lot of work at this end. So I'll get them all marked up. I'm going to tape up the fingerboard, and I will come back and show you how to crown the frets. Just coming to the end of getting these frets all well, not levelled, recrowned. Got 4 left to do, and I'm going to show you how I do that. And 2 files, using my triangular 3-edge file. These edges are safe for ground flat, so when we do come across the fingerboard we don't cut into it. I'll be crowning with this file, and I'll be finishing off with the profiling file. Quick explanation on how we crown a fret. Frets are now flat across the top because we've levelled them all, and we're going to rebuild that crown, that curve. So where they're flat, we're going to build that crown, and what we're going to do is, on the far side, as I file across the fret, I'm going to angle the file toward the camera, and on this side I'll angle it away from the camera, and we'll gradually build up that arc or the crown. Once that's done, we'll finish off with the profiling file, which will remove any burrs and give us a nice even profile across the whole of the fret. These ones are already done, but it doesn't hurt to go across again. And now that fret is beautifully crowned. Wipe the file, move on to the next one. I've covered in pen. I don't know if you can see from where you are. What we're going to remove the pen and just leave a thin line down the centre, and that is going to cause, or that's going to make a point of contact being the top of the crown. So the thin line on the centre of what we leave is where the string touches the fret. Less fret it touches, the less it is as it has a chance of buzzing. So it's not going to buzz. So here we go. Just filing straight across. It only cuts on the forward stroke, but we can go just forwards if we want, like that, or we can go forwards and backwards, it makes no difference. But that is it. Blow away the excess, wipe the file, across with a profiling file, and that is as difficult as it is, and that's that one done. Move on to the next one. Same again. Because I'm this side closer to the camera, I'm going to angle the file away from the camera, and there we go. Wipe the file again, come in with the profiling file, give it a wipe, blow away the excess, and recrown again. Wipe the file, on to the next one, and you can see I'm getting a little bit of a spurt on. It's because I'm experienced at this, so I can move that a little bit quicker. Wipe the file, blow away the excess, back over with the profiling file, wipe the file out of the way, wipe the file, final one, wipe the file, final one, and that's it. That is all the frets profiled, recrowned, profiled, same thing. The new ones being number 1, number 3 and number 4. We're just going to check the level, and this is why we'll leave a thin line down the centre, because if we don't remove that thin line down the centre, it means the frets are still going to be level, and they are level, they are all done. So all that remains for me to do now is to get these all polished up. We polish for 2 reasons. 1, to remove the scratches, and 2, to bring them to a nice glass-like shine. Just going across all the frets, just checking that they are level, and they are. So we now have the frets all levelled, 3 bad ones replaced, they are all recrowned, and we're now ready for polishing. Just finish these last few, just check, and the job is a good one. So this is what I do mainly. This is the main part of my work. It's what I do more than anything else is fretwork. It's what I'm all about. Frets and necks. For frets and necks right, but guitar has the potential to be an absolute world beater. You can have the best and most expensive guitar in the world, but if the neck is not right and the frets are not right, it will never ever be any good. Anyway, I'm going to crack on. I'm going to move it over to a polishing table. I'm going to get these all polished up and we can come back, we'll get some strings on, we'll recut the nuts and we'll get it all set up, ready to go. So we're almost there with this guitar. I've polished the frets with 6 different grits of paper. And I'm going to finish off with finest grade steel wool, and pretty simple to bring these to a shine. These frets are now glass like. What I'm going to do is over the top and in at the edges, and that basically is it. And again over the top, in at the edges, over the top again. That's 2 done this end. Let me come down to the other end and show you. Do the same here. Over the top, in at the edges, finish over the top, and these, that is just beautiful. The 6 grits of sandpaper I've used today are 600, 800, 1000, 1200, 1500 and 2000. So you go with varying grits, and the more you polish, the more you take the scratches out, and this final part is where you really bring them up to a shine. Some people will say you need polish on them. You don't need polish on them. I used to use polish, but it's a pain. You don't need it. It doesn't make any difference. And if you can get a good polish without using any gumption or what do you call it, kind of an ointment, why would you need a kind of an ointment? Bring it up to a polish using sandpaper, steel wool, and you know you've got a real good polish on there. And I've done 4 at this end. I'll bring the magnifying glass there, hopefully you can see a little bit of how they look. They look fantastic. Looking really, really good. Let me have a look myself. They are so beautiful. The 3 I replaced are frets 1, 3 and 4. And you wouldn't know unless I pointed them out. You would know because the actual original frets are actually a little bit inside the neck, well, mine go right to the end. So if you really, really look, you are going to notice. But the frets are now level, recrowned, polished. The guitar is going to play fantastic. It will look the part and it will play very, very well. But let's not be under any illusions here. It's not a Fender. It's not something I'd normally do. If I didn't know the guy that owns this guitar, I would not have done this. I would not have taken this on. But I know it's never going to be passed off as a real one. Well, you couldn't anyway. Anybody that's got any little bit of common sense would be able to know straight away that this is not a real Fender. So you can get a cheap Chinese neck up to spec. This is not up to my spec by any stretch of imagination, because what I would have done is, I actually bought one of these necks. I've mentioned it a couple of times on this video before. I would have ripped all the frets out. I would have re-leveled the neck and re-radiused it and made it, because it's got a rollover, a really cheap crap rollover. It's not a rollover, it's just carved. And then I'd just take a millimetre off the top just to bring it up. Then I'd have re-fretted it and I'd put the frets right to the end of the neck. Now you see, that is an expensive job. It's something I can do for myself, no problem. To me, it's just time. I've already got fret wire in stock, and it would take me anything from 12, 16 hours depending on the job. I'd say about, if I was doing my own, I'd probably do it in 12 hours because I'd do it a little bit quicker, because I don't have to be as, that's the word I'm looking for, I don't have to give it as much care and attention as I would a client guitar. With a client guitar, I've got their baby in my hands, so I'm going to take my time. I'm going to make sure everything's right. Whereas my own, I could just bang some frets in quite quickly. But, you know, it's not, is it worth doing? To me, possibly, yeah, but how long is that neck going to stay straight? You know, you just don't know. 23 quid for a neck, you expecting it to be any good? I wouldn't have thought so. Anyway, a few more frets to do, about 10 more to do. I'm going to crack on. I'm going to carve a knot. I'll carve a knot off camera. It just needs some taking off the top there. And then we'll get some strings on the other bench. I'll come back and show you that. I'm not going to show me cutting the nut, you know how I cut a nut. I'll get it done while it's on here once I've got this polished, and we'll get it on the other bench, we'll get some strings on, we'll get it set up. And here is the neck all finished, and I've covered the logo up, don't need to show that, but this came in as a project. I know the owner of this guitar. I know he'll never try and pass this off as a real brand name guitar. I know he's keeping it, well, he's got it done just for his son, and it came in and the frets were all over the place, and in hindsight replacing the neck would have probably been a better move. But I've levelled the frets, I've replaced 3 frets, I've recrowned them all and polished them, and the neck looks and plays fantastic. Is it going to stay like that? I've got no idea. Some of these frets could ping out in the future, I don't know. I've never used one of these necks myself. I've mentioned before, I bought one of these necks. I've actually bought it and lost it, because I bought it and it was in this workshop somewhere, I can't find it anywhere. And it's exactly the same neck as this, and it was £23 delivered from China. 23 English pounds sterling. What are you going to get for £23 sterling? You ain't going to get a lot. 5 pints, 6 pints of beer maybe. But you certainly ain't going to get a good guitar neck. So will this stay in good condition? I hope so, because I've kind of put my name on it in a way. I've done the fret level to the best of my ability. It's a fantastic fret level. All the frets are level. I replaced frets 1, 3 and 4. And I'll show you them. 1, 3 and 4 have been replaced. They're actually better than the rest of the frets, because my frets go right to the end of the edge of the neck. The others don't. So yeah, done a good job. But in hindsight, is it worth it? Well, the body alone is worth it. I would have taken that body, ditched the neck, ditched the electrics, ditched the pickups and built a guitar around that body, because the body's fantastic. So that would be my advice for next time. Stick a good neck on there. Even stick a Squire neck on there. Squire necks are fantastic. Get one of the older ones. Nice big thick chunk of rosewood on there. I love the Squire necks. And you're better off putting a second-hand Squire neck on these, I'd have thought. Or if you want to buy a new neck, buy a new neck. I know what the guy paid for this guitar, and he got it in our trade deal, and he didn't pay a lot. Only a few quid. And so, yeah, it kind of is worth it, because that body looks great. The guitar certainly looks the part. It plays well. It plays really well. The neck plays fantastic. The pickups are, I'll be honest, the garbage. That bridge pickup squeals like I don't know what. You put a little bit of gain on your drive, it's squealing all over the place. That needs to be taken out and needs to be replaced. I'd have thought replacing the electrics would be a pretty good idea as well. But it is a player. I've had it plugged in and I've played it, and it plays really, really well. It just doesn't sound much good. So, would I recommend buying one of these guitars? I'll be honest. Absolutely not. Not ever. I did have a Gibson in about 3 years ago, and the guy spent about £200 on it. And it was garbage. It wasn't garbage when I'm done with it. It was a playable guitar. But if you'd have replaced the pickups and refretted it proper, like like I explained to the guy, I said, you just spent £500–600 on the guitar. You might as well go and buy a second-hand Gibson. Go and buy a studio. You can't fault a Gibson studio. So, I don't know if this video is going to make it. If it does make it, you'll be seeing this and you'll be hearing me speak right now. But if it doesn't, there's no point in me saying, well, you won't. So I'm just talking complete nonsense and I'm wasting everyone's time. But I may release this video, I don't know. But it's been a fun project, in a way. Worthwhile, absolutely worthwhile, because the guitar's playable. I know the owner of this guitar is going to come and play it. He's going to think, wow, you've done really well with that. I say, yeah, well, I have, but it's cost you more money than it ought to have done. It is not cheap. I've done him a special rate. So it's certainly worth the money he's giving me. And I'd say lesson learned. So there it is. Fantastic, cracking looking guitar. I would not myself have a brand name put on the headstock. I'd have just used it as, but people want that. But I know he's not going to try and sell or move this on, so I'm quite pleased that, you know, it is his guitar. If it wasn't him, I don't think I'd have done the guitar at all. It's just because he's a guy I know quite well. And that's it. So this is me, Vic, signing off. I'm your fret friend. Keep checking my website. Facebook is best. Facebook.com/NG17. That's Facebook.com/NGONE SEVEN. Also, keep your eyes peeled for fretfriend.co.uk because that will be up and running soon. I've got a website built, just needs a little bit of tweaking. Check it out if you like. But anyway, that's me signing off. So, till next time, boys and girls, as always, God bless you. Be good to each other, and I will see you soon.